Good morning. Welcome to the Appeals Tribunal, Township of Ramara. My name is Robert Kay, and I'm going to chair these proceedings. With me today as other fellow members of the Appeal Tribunal, our member Anne Belanger, present by Zoom, member Paul Moynihan on my right, and member Randy Warren on my left. Members of staff are also present. John Popple, Manager of Community Standards and Recreation, will take on the role of the township's case presenter for each matter presented today. We have a communication staff and our coordinator, Rebecca Carrick. Welcome. Do you want to?
This meeting is being streamed live on the Township of Ramara YouTube channel. Please be advised that by attending a public meeting of the Appeals Tribunal of the Township of Ramara, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded, and will form part of the recording. The chair and/or clerk have the discretion and authority to terminate or interrupt the live streaming in exceptional circumstances where the content of debate is considered inappropriate to be published. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if their actions result in inappropriate behavior or comments.
Today, the tribunal will hear appeals file 2024.11, 2024.13, 2024.14, and 2024.10 regarding administrative monetary penalties under the Township Bylaw 2020.11, being a bylaw to license, regulate, and govern short-term rental accommodations uses as amended, as well as file number 2024.15, request for time extension on the administrative monetary penalties appeal. Anyone in attendance that is not listed as a party to these files are respectfully asked to refrain from commenting during the hearing. Decisions of the tribunal will be released in writing no later than 15 business days after the hearing is complete. This tribunal does not have the authority to award costs based on proceedings, or any other procedural inquiries should be directed to the tribunal community coordinator. At this time, I will swear in the township's case presenter. Please state your name for the record.
John Popple.
Do you solemnly declare and affirm that all evidence that you will provide to the tribunal will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do affirm.
I will now pass the meeting back to the tribunal chair, Mr. Kay, to begin.
Thank you, Madam Coordinator. First of all, let me ask the members of the tribunal present by Zoom and in person if they have any pecuniary interest or other conflict of interest with the proceedings coming before us today. Not hearing any, we will proceed. May I have a motion for the adoption of the agenda today, December 17th, 24?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Ramara Appeal Tribunal agenda dated December 17th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
Second.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried unanimously.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We just need that motion adopted as amended because there is an addition to the under the new and unfinished business.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, having said that the agenda has been approved, I move that the agenda be in order at the discretion of the chairman.
Thank you. Second. Randy, thank you. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. I'm going to ask for a motion for the adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting in October 16, 24.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Ramara Appeal Tribunal minutes dated October 16th of 2024 be adopted as presented.
Second. Thank you. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. I'm going to call up the numbers of the case files before us today. I'm going to ask that we motion to consider the first case file before us today. The number is file number 2024.11 and 2024.13. Could I have a motion to consider that? Second.
So second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, opposed of any, carried unanimously. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the process of the appeals tribunal, let me just say that the township will present its case and give an opening address, and adduce any evidence, produce any witnesses. The appellant will then have their chance to speak to the tribunal and adduce any evidence and present any witnesses. There will be a reply of evidence and examination by the township case presenter. The township will there will be a reply, and the township will then provide closing remarks, and the appellant will be able to provide any closing remarks. So may I now ask the appellant for the first case 2024.11 and 2024.13 to come forward.
Mr. Mordecai, that's you. Yeah. For the purposes, if you want to have a seat at one of the chairs across.
Could you turn on your microphone if you can? It's the middle of the button. Thank you. May I have your name, sir?
My name is Alexander Mordecai.
Okay, before we proceed, we have an interpreter present today. We swear in the interpreter, please.
Good morning, everyone. For the record, my name is Certainly, for the record, my name is Medzvedzik, initial A, that's MEDZVIAD.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear.
I will
Could you
repeat-
speak up, raise your voice, sir?
Certainly. So Medzvedzik, initial A, that's MEDZVIADZIUK, first initial A for Alexander, Belarusian and Russian speaker interpreter. And for everyone's understanding, I did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Mordecai earlier this morning in the Belarusian language. He indicated to me that he would prefer at times to speak in the Russian language, and I was told to be on a standby while the panel was addressing the public and people present. I was told by Mr. Mordecai to be on a standby and to assist with interpretation at that time on as needed basis. Just
Thank you. Could you swear in the interpreter, please?
Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the evidence you will provide to the tribunal will be truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do solemnly affirm that the evidence that I will interpret from the Russian into English language, from English language to Russian, or from Belarusian language into English. And from English language to Belarusian language, in case may be, I will do that to the best of my ability. And I will do
Thank you. And I understand that you are certified by the Ministry of the Attorney General as a qualified interpreter, sir, in the Russian and Belarusian languages?
Yes, I am. I'm fully accredited in the Russian and Belarusian languages by the Ministry of Attorney General of Ontario.
Thank you very much. If the two of you wish, you're welcome to sit down over there if it's more comfortable for you, or you could remain there, whichever you wish. Okay, Mr. Popple.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be presenting the information and evidence on behalf of the township for this case, Mr. Chair. In this matter, there are two administrative monetary penalties being appealed. One dated the 28th of May, 2024, which is penalty notice 2024-0504. And penalty notice dated the 24th of June, 2024. Numbered penalty notice 2024-0650.
I do apologize if I could ask. Slow zone,
Not a problem.
just my
The second one?
second.
Okay. So the second one, Mr. Chair, is dated the 24th of June, 2024.
Sorry, is that the 22nd or the 24th of June?
The 24th of June.
There seems to be a discrepancy, Mr. Popo. The one I have in front of me says the 22nd of June.
If I could just have the committee's indulgence to come and see that document.
Certainly. Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Just for your reference, the AMP is dated the 24th of June.
Thank
The
you.
infraction took place on the 22nd of
Thank
June.
you for the clarification, Mr. Fox.
So I will proceed with the penalty notice that was issued on the 28th of May, 2024. Penalty notice 2024-0504 first. So, Mr. Chair and committee, as a result of a complaint filed with the Township of Ramara, Officer George Greenslade, who is employed as a municipal law enforcement officer for the Township of Ramara, investigated the operation of a short-term rental accommodation operating without a current license. The complaint address was 4781 Byers Lane. Byers with a B for Bravo. In the Township of Ramara. Officer Greenslade conducted a online search for that subject property at 4781 Byers Lane. And he located on our online database host compliance active advertisements for said property at 4781 Byers Lane. Those advertisements are before you in the package and clearly indicate the property location being 4781 Byers Lane. The contact name for the property is Alex. The minimum night stay for that property is 2. 2 nights. Based on that information, Officer Greenslade concluded that there was an active advertisement for a short-term rental accommodation at 4781 Byers Lane in the Township of Ramara. I'd like to enter the host compliance match property listing as Exhibit 1.
So marked.
Additionally, the officer printed off a online advertisement from Airbnb, which shows reviews of the property. And within the third review, which was entered by Nicolay from Toronto, Canada, it indicates that he had a great time at Alex's place, which matches the information from our host compliance database. So I'd like to enter that as Exhibit 2, Mr. Chair.
So marked.
As a result of the officer confirming online advertisements for the property, he confirmed that there was no current license issued to that property. And at that time and currently, there is no short-term rental accommodation license issued to 4781 Byers Lane. As a result, Officer Greenslade issued penalty notice 2024-0504 to Alexander Mordecai. And I apologize for the reading of the second name, Siriana. And
Jacobska.
Jacoska. I thank you, sir. The penalty notice was issued to these individuals following a search of the township's ownership database, which indicated they were the property owners of 4781 Byers Lane. For the clarity for the committee, you'll notice that the administrative monetary penalty was sent to 4781 Concession Road 10. Concession Road 10
Was sent to.
4781 Concession Road 10. That's because in the previous year, Concession Road 10 was changed to Byers Lane. And the mailing address had not been changed in our tax system. The administrative monetary penalty was issued under section 3.7 of the township's short-term rental licensing bylaw. For no person shall advertise a short-term rental accommodation without a license. I'd like to enter that penalty notice as an exhibit 3, Mr. Chair.
So marked.
Mr. Chair, I don't have any additional evidence related to that first administrative monetary penalty. I was wondering for procedural fairness, if I wanted to pass it over to my friend to ask any questions specific to that one, so we don't muddy the waters between the two administrative monetary penalties.
That's fine. Sir, Mr. Mordecai, this is your opportunity through your interpreter to ask any relevant questions of the presenter, Mr. Popple. You will get an opportunity after any questions that you may have to present your case.
How many questions?
Not having any questions at this time. Anything to add, Mr. Popple?
Not to that first file, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, sir, if you would please address the tribunal and adduce any evidence that you may have to present today.
Mr. Chair, you'll
Yes.
just have to swear in the appellant now.
Thank you. Before you proceed, we'll swear you in.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Alexander Mordecai.
Do you solemnly declare
Yes.
and affirm that the evidence you will provide to the tribunal will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Let the record show that the defendant appellant has presented two documents to each member of the tribunal. I'm going to ask the coordinator, is there any way to show these to Ms. Belanger?
I've just asked the committee coordinator for a copy as well, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Just wait a moment, Mr. Mordecai, until we can circulate the documents that you presented.
Mr. Chair, the documents have been emailed to the member on Zoom.
I'm sorry.
The documents have been emailed to the member that's attending on Zoom.
Thank you. Ms. Boulanger, do you have those documents?
Yes, I do now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mordecai, you may proceed.
I'm presenting my defense regarding the appeal against penalty notice 2024-0504, short-term rental accommodations by law 2020.11 issued by the Township of Ramara on May 28th, 2024. The details of the penalty notice are as follows. Penalty notice number 2024-0504, date of issue May 28, 2024. Description of the penalty. No person shall advertise a short-term rental accommodation without a license.
Could you speak up a little bit, sir?
Sure. I believe the penalty notice was issued in error based on a misunderstanding of my property listing. I would like to clarify the following points regarding my property and short-term rental accommodation. So first of all, short-term rental definition. A short-term rental is all or part of a dwelling unit rented out for less than 28 consecutive days in exchange for payment. Short-term rentals include bed and breakfast, but exclude hotels, motels, student residences owned or operated by publicly funded or non-profit educational institutions. It also excludes other accommodations where there is no payments. I'm appealing this decision on the ground that the property was not advertised for short-term rental or less than 28 nights. The listing explicitly states that the cottage is available for 28 nights or more only. You have that screenshot from my computer, from my Airbnb account. The instant book option was turned off, ensuring that all rental requests must be manually accepted. This allows me to verify that all rentals period comply with the minimum 28-night requirements. And the description of the property clearly mentioned that this is available for rentals of 28 nights or more only, which complies with the regulation stated on the Township of Ramara's website. Screenshot of the listing description is attached as well to your viewings. As stated on the Township of Ramara website, the definition of short-term rental accommodations is a building or structure that operates or offers a place of residency, lodging, or occupancy by law of concession, permit, lease, license, rental agreement, or similar commercial arrangement for any period less than 28 consecutive calendar days throughout all or any part of the year. Given this definition, my property listing should not be considered as advertising short-term rental accommodations. I kindly request that you review the provided evidence and consider the penalty issued. I am confident that upon reviewing this information, you will find that the penalty was unjustly issued. Thank you.
Do you have any other evidence or witnesses at this time?
No, I don't.
Thank you. All right, do you have any questions of the witness, Mr. Popple?
Just one, Mr. Chair, I believe. From the screenshots that you provided, the about this space screenshot has no timestamp or date when it was printed. The second screenshot showing the minimum nights at 28 was printed or screenshotted on the 10th of June, 2024. Do you have any screenshots from prior to the 27th of May that show this detail?
I don't have any because I didn't think it was an issue of like advertising my short-term rental, like so-called short-term rental for 28 or more days. So I didn't take any. I took all these screenshots once I received the penalty notice by mail. So I've kind of started preparing myself to defense. And but before that, I don't have anything. I can admit that I was, as per your evidence, the listing was like probably 100 times removed and adjusted, and I probably was playing with the dates on my Airbnb account and just to compare the prices, right, and to have better prices for my cottage, and maybe by that time it was like available for 2 days, 3 days, 1 day, 1 week, or whatever. Because I was trying to to find the best prices possible in this area. Thank you.
I have no other questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You have any reply evidence that you wish to present, Mr. Popple?
I would just have my final summation, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mordecai. We'll now hear the township's closing remarks.
Mr. Chair and committee members, I simply ask that you consider the evidence before the committee. The matched property listing from host compliance from the 26th day of May 2024. That clearly indicates that the contact name is Alex, matching the property owners, and the minimum night stay that was being advertised was 2. Whether or not the appellant was playing around with the listing, as soon as it's posted online and made available for rent for less than 28 days, it is in contravention of the bylaw, and I'd ask that the administrative monetary penalty be upheld.
Thank you. Mr. Mordecai, do you have any closing remarks at this time?
Yes, so as I mentioned before, the instant book option was turned off. Even though there was like 2 days available for bookings, no one can book it instantly, right? So they have to, if you're familiar with the Airbnb platform, they have to send me a request to accept that booking. So even though if it was available for 1 day, 2 days, or whatever days less than 28, it should be manually accepted. Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated, sir. The tribunal has heard from both parties in this matter.
Mr. Chair, we have the second
Yes.
amp. Okay,
Yes, but I just want to conclude. one
okay.
at a
I just hope they could stay up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. The tribunal has heard both parties and our decision will be reserved at this time. Could I have a motion to that effect?
Mr. Chairman, I move that this be reserved for closed session.
Thank you. Second? Thank you, sir. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. We will now proceed to the second item, 2024. Point, what was it, 14? 13. Yes, 2024.13, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This matter was investigated by Municipal Law Enforcement Officer Gavin Savoie, who was employed by the Township of Ramara on the 22nd day of June and the 24th day of June 2024. I'll be presenting the evidence on his behalf. As a result of a complaint filed with the township in regards to the operation of a short-term rental accommodation, Officer Savoie and Officer Mabria, who was also employed as a municipal law enforcement officer by the Township of Ramara, attended the property known as 4781 Byers Lane to investigate the complaint of the operation of a short-term rental without a license. They arrived at the property on the 22nd day of June 2024. And upon attending the home on the property, could see 3 individuals inside the home. They knocked on the door and spoke with one of the individuals who confirmed that they were renting the property through Airbnb for the weekend. As a result, Officer Savoie reviewed the ownership for the property, and it is the same ownership as the previous matter, Mr. Chair, owned by Mr. Alexander Mordecai. A review of township licensing records was completed, and it indicated that 4781 Byers Lane was not licensed as a short-term rental accommodation by the Township of Ramara. As a result, Officer Savoie issued penalty notice 2024-0650 for operating without a license in accordance with section 5.1 of the short-term rental accommodations bylaw 2020.11 as amended. I would like to enter that administrative monetary penalty as exhibit 1
So entered.
I have no additional evidence, Mr. Chair. The evidence for the township is that a complaint was received. The officer confirmed that there was renters within the property renting for the weekend, and the administrative monetary penalty was issued as a result.
Thank you. Before we proceed, I just want to state for the record that Mr. Mordecai has been sworn and he still has his interpreter beside him at this time. Mr. Mordecai, do you have any questions of Mr. Popple at this time? All right. Anything else, Mr. Popple, at this time?
No, thank you. That's the case for the township.
Thank you. Mr. Mordecai, you may speak to this matter now and produce any evidence that you may wish. Thank you. Let the record show that Mr. Mordecai has presented the tribunal with a two-page document, which if you will pause while it's circulated to the members of the tribunal and to Mr. Pop. Ms. Belanger, do you have a copy of this yet?
Just waiting.
Thank you. Just let us know when you receive it.
I will. Thank you. I have it.
Thank you. Mr. Mordecai, you may proceed.
I'm presenting my defense. The penalty notice 2024-0650, which alleges that I operate a short-term rental accommodation without a license from the Township of Ramara. I respectfully submit that the circumstances of this case do not meet the legal definition of a short-term rental, and therefore the penalty is unwarranted. The definition of short-term rental accommodation, according to the regulation of the Township of Ramara, short-term rental accommodation is defined as a rental of a residential property for a period of less than 28 days in exchange for monetary compensation. The key component of this definition are the duration. The rental period must be less than 28 days, and the compensation, the accommodation is provided in exchange of money. The individuals who stayed at my cottage during the period in questions were personal friends The stay at the cottage was free of charge, with the understanding that it would be provided a review of the property. The arrangement was purely a friendly exchange. Based on the Township of Ramara's definition of a short-term rental accommodation, the key element is exchange of money for the use of the property. Since no money was exchanged in this situation, the arrangement does not constitute a short-term rental. No monetary exchange, as there were no payments for the stay, the situations cannot legally be classified as a short-term rental under the township's regulations. No license requirement because of this was not a short-term rental. I was not required to obtain a short-term rental license for the use of my property by friends. The stay in question involved no monetary compensation and was therefore not subject to the licensing requirements for the short-term rentals. Given that the situation does not meet the criteria for the short-term rental as defined by the Township of Ramara, I respectfully request that penalty notice 2024-0650 be dismissed. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm confident that upon review of the evidence and the legal standards involved, the tribunal will arrive at a just resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mordecai. Anything else you wish to say at this time?
Nope.
Mr. Popple, any cross?
No, I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
All right. Any reply evidence, Mr. Popple?
No, Mr. Chair, just final summation.
Thank you. Township may now provide their closing remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In this case, I'm basing the presentation of the evidence based on the officer's notes. He clearly indicated that through conversations with the individuals who were found within the dwelling at the subject property, they indicated that they had rented through Airbnb. That is an online platform that requires payment in order to affect a rental. And I'm relying on the information that the officer provided at that time in his notes. Clearly, a review of the licensing issued by the township shows that no short-term rental license was issued at that time or currently for that property. And I'd ask that the fine be upheld by the tribunal.
Thank you. Mr. Mordecai, do you have any closing remarks?
Yes, and that is correct, Mr. Popple. They rented this property through Airbnb, otherwise you just cannot leave a review. The Airbnb platform does not allow you to leave a review if you're not renting through the platform. Thank you.
Do any members of the tribunal have any questions of the defendant appellant? Yes.
Mic on. I'm going to address this to Mr. Alex at this time. If the Airbnb Airbnb ad stated that you had to rent for 28 days or more, why do we have all this evidence of all these people that were looking at the posting that you put on Airbnb and the number of people that we have that have replied to your ads for several nights or less? And you must have a lot of friends if you can let them stay at your cottage for free, because I just don't feel that's the case. Thank you, sir.
So this is actually so hard to rent the property through Airbnb without any reviews posted. And I have to mention that we are a hockey family and we have 3 kids, so we travel a lot and we don't have that opportunity to come visit our cottage. So we had to figure something out in terms of like paying, bills, mortgages and stuff like that. So we had to get more reviews to get our listings kind of more popular and to show up more to the people who want to rent the cottage. So that's why we decided to let our friends to book it through the Airbnb platform, and some of them, they even didn't go there and didn't spend nights, but they just left reviews. That's all.
I have one question there, Mr. Alex. The Nicolay stay in Toronto, that's exhibit 2. Was that a false review or did he also stay there?
He didn't stay there.
He did not stay there?
No.
Thank you.
On the basis of the questions of members of the tribunal, do either Mr. Popple or Mr. Mordecai have any remarks to the tribunal?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. The tribunal has heard both parties and a decision will be reserved at this time. Could I have a motion to that effect?
I move that this docket and sub docket be referred to the closed session for the committee's
Second, thank you. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
Quick question. Will I receive your final decision in like 15 business days?
Within 15 business days, you will receive a written decision from the coordinator.
Okay, will it be mailed to me or emailed? Because I'm no longer living to this property. We sold it, so.
Madam
And
Coordinator,
if you can just put a mark, just
how will
email it to
we-
me.
how will we communicate the decision?
It will be communicated via email as well as registered mail once it's back up so that you have a physical hard
Thank you.
copy from the office.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mordecai. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If I may ask the tribunal to be excused.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day, everyone.
All right. Okay, we'll move along now. Appeal Tribunal Hearing File 2024.14 regarding the administrative monetary penalty number 2024-08-20. May I have a motion for the Appeal Tribunal to hear this now?
Mr. Chairman, I move that this file to be heard right now.
Thank you. Or thank you. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll move to that file now, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could ask Mr. Chang to come forward, sir, to the microphone. Mr. Chair and members of the committee, the next two are actually going to be quite quick. I've had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Chan before the meeting today and reviewed the evidence that was collected and submitted by the officer at the time of the infractions. And that officer is no longer employed by the Township of Ramara. And I don't feel that there was enough evidence to support this charge moving forward. So I will be asking that it be withdrawn today and that the committee cancel the administrative monetary penalty. I do, however, have an undertaking from Mr. Chan, who is the property owner of 3458 Amelia Drive, that going forward, if he does want to operate a short-term rental accommodation, that he'll go through the licensing process or apply to be on the waiting list, whatever the case may be. So can you just confirm that for the committee, Mr. Chang, that you've made that undertaking with me today?
Yes.
So
Okay.
I would respectfully ask that the appeals committee cancel the administrative monetary fine.
Okay,
for this file.
may I have a motion to that effect?
Mr. Chairman, I move that this be canceled under this Ramara Appeal Tribunal.
Thank you. Second, any opposed? Not hearing any, so carry. Well, thank you, Mr. Chen.
Thank you.
Moving
Thank you,
on
Mr. Chan.
to appeal
Yeah, you're good,
tribunal
you're good.
hearing 2024.10 regarding administrative monetary penalty 2024-06-12. Mr. Poppel, did you have any remarks about this one?
For the second one?
Yeah, 2024.10.
Yeah, if Mr. Fishu could come forward. And I believe he's joined by his son today, Mr. Chair, as well.
Thank you. Good morning, gentlemen. Just come up to the microphone, please.
I had an opportunity,
Good morning,
Mr.
Ron.
Chair and members of the committee, to talk to Mr. The Fishus this morning. I'm going to give you the Coles Notes version of the story, just so you have a full understanding of what transpired. Mr. Fishu is the owner of 4298 Plum Point Road here in the Township of Ramara. In 2020, when the licensing bylaw was first enacted, he did file an application for a license. Unfortunately, as a result of circumstances, that license was never issued. And we find ourselves here today in 2024. Part of the issue is that we required additional information from the appellant, which was surrounded around an inspection and drawings of the septic system. And right at the same time that I had made that request, a contracted organization through the township attended his property through the building department for the mandatory septic reinspection program. Mr. Fishu assumed that was the same program that I was asking for the septic reinspection under, but it's obviously a completely separate septic program requiring routine inspections to ensure that it's not leaching. They indicated that they were forwarding the report to the township, meaning they were sending the report to the building department for that septic reinspection program, not to me. So that information just sat in a file without my knowledge of it being here at the township. We moved forward and there was some issues with operation, but I believe that in good faith, Mr. Fishu thought he was satisfying the requirements for a license and that he could operate. So again, I'm asking that the fine, the administrative monetary penalty be canceled against Mr. Fishu for his property at 4298 Plum Point Road. And I also have an undertaking from the Fishus that they are no longer interested in operating a short-term rental from the property. They have other plans for the property. And I just asked, gentlemen, if you could confirm that information for me today.
That is correct. We did at the time apply, and then we did the drawings besides the inspection mandatory for the waterfront, what Mr. Popo is referring to. We did do another inspection at the time. So we did do our due diligence. We put everything in the mailbox at the time. The only problem was it was during COVID. And I guess because the municipality was closed, the site and everything. So I guess our papers got lost. But yes, we do undertake that we will not operate with the short-term rental.
Okay, I understand you're Mr. George Fishu's son, sir.
My name is Constantine Fichu.
Thank you. All right. You have anything to add, Mr. Poppel?
No, I'd respectfully request that the fine be withdrawn by the committee.
Okay, it's been a request by the township. May I have a motion to that effect?
And I second.
Thank you. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Take care.
Right. The remaining matter appeal tribunal hearing file 2024.15 regarding administrative monetary penalty 2024-10-01. I see that there's a request for a time extension.
Yes, sir, as Mr. Chair. I believe the applicant is here and the onus is on him to provide the reasoning to the tribunal as to why that extension should be granted.
Yes, could you come forward, sir? You're here regarding the file
Good morning.
2024.15. Could you state your name, sir?
My name is Anton Arulapu. I'm representing Arun Manikam. Actually,
Sorry, you're requesting
that's
what,
my
sir?
son. Actually, I'm on my son name Arun Manikam. Arun Ryan. Regards 8144 Late Law Avenue.
And you're requesting an extension
Yes,
to hear the appeal?
correct. Yes.
All right.
fine
Before we proceed, we just want to pass a motion to consider this matter before the tribunal. Motion to consider.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the motion to be considered for this request be held in closed session.
Thank you. Sir, could you just tell us why you want an extension?
Yes. The fine was really high for us. We never used it. We didn't even know this place, the city.
Could you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, we didn't know we can rent. We advertised and we never got rented any time. Somebody complained it, so we took it out the ad from that from the Verbo, which the site we're using to rent. And then
And you received a notice
yeah,
from the township as to
Correct.
this proceeding,
yes,
as
maybe
to the fine and penalty?
yeah,
And when did you receive
2,500
that?
penalty, which is unreasonable to her. We hardly have any money to pay this kind. I opened a case by paying $500. I came and paid the 500 to open the thing, the case or whatever. I
So
did pay.
you're
I think it's
You're requesting a time extension to pay the penalty?
no, really. I want to have it dismissed.
Or you're
Yeah.
appealing it?
Yeah,
If I could provide some clarity, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
So an offense under the short-term rental licensing bylaw was noted by the township. We sent him an administrative monetary penalty with an appeal timeframe of 15 days from the date of that notice. And the appellant failed to appeal within the 15 days, so that they are no longer permitted to file that appeal unless the committee grants them an extension of time to appeal. So
Okay.
the appellant really needs to provide you with reasons as to why they didn't meet the 15-day deadline to file that appeal and why the committee should consider reopening it.
I understand now. Thank you. All right, sir. So you're requesting an extension for the time to file the
Correct.
appeal. All right. Now, can you please explain to me why you could not file within the 15 days?
we were on vacation. Me and my son went to out of town, so it must have came in our mail. We haven't realized it.
And during what period were you away?
that was probably 3 months ago, I think,
And how
4
long
months.
were you away?
Almost a month. Yeah, we're doing.
Just give us a moment, sir. Mr. Popple, does the township have any submissions with regard to the request for an extension of time for appeal?
The township notified the property owners of the offense in accordance with the bylaw. It was sent by registered mail. And in accordance with the provisions under the municipal act, any notices delivered by registered mail are considered served after the 5th day. And the appeal was not filed, so we would ask that the extension not be granted.
Yes.
Mr. Arn, do you have any travel documents showing or stating that you had left on you?
No, we didn't go out.
No supporting-
We went to Ottawa doing a housework there,
Uh-huh. So,
fixing a house. So
you have no supporting
no, we didn't
documentation
go out
showing.
country. No,
Okay.
no,
Thank you.
not within the Canada. So mostly on and off. We haven't able to check our mails regular basis. We come and work and go and come. And,
No gas receipts showing you were in Ottawa during
Oh,
that
yeah,
time?
I have a lot. A lot.
We have
Yeah.
nothing here with you
I
today,
can
right?
prove. Yeah, I can bring it
Okay.
from my
Thank you very
house.
much.
I kept everything.
Thank
So
you.
you were, if I to understand, sir, you said
I
you
do
were away for
apologize.
a month?
Kind of on and off. Yeah, we do a lot of work. You come late and you go early, so I hardly have time. I'm still in the middle of renovation. I come here, so that's I do for living. So I'm so sorry. I haven't able to follow up with the mails and stuff, right? So, but this subject property is sold already. So waiting for closing. So we are not renting at all. So please take into consideration. Yes. It was sold to people. They're moving in on the next month. Sorry, 3rd of February.
Yes, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Chair, through you to Mr. Popple. Are we able to make this decision in closed session, or does it have to be made in open session?
I would, this could be deferred to closed session. It does not need to be made in the presence of the appellant or the township.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Popple.
I am going to ask have you anything else to add, sir?
Pardon?
Have you anything else to add that you wish to say?
Not really. See, we not plan to make money or anything, just to
No, I don't want to hear the mayor.
make some money. We never were rented, it's a mistake. I do apologize for this.
Well, let me
didn't-
just ask you
Yeah.
point blank, sir.
Yeah.
Do you have a defense that you wish to present? Or do you wish, other than the fact that you have to pay the penalty, is that the basic
Exactly.
reason for your appeal?
Correct. Yes.
So you
I-
basically have no defense. You just want to appeal because of the quantum of the penalty. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, the 2,500 penalty, it's to me, it's very unreasonable in terms
Yes,
of what we.
Is my statement
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, correct. I would say.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you, Ms. Boulanger.
Sir, I'm wondering if it's in your best interest to actually present today, because if we could hear a little bit more from the township about why it was originally, if there was a complaint, if anybody actually stayed. If we find out that nobody stayed and we get a little bit more information, I think it's in your best interest if you do present today rather than defer this. It's up to you, but I think coming back up and restating what you've stated isn't going to help you and isn't going to help us.
Thank you, Ms. Boulanger. Could I have a motion to, sorry, Mr. Popple, yes.
So the township is not prepared to proceed today because there is no active appeal for this file.
Thank
The
you.
committee's only consideration is whether they grant the extension for him to file the appeal. So
Thank
I'm
you.
not prepared.
Could I have a motion to move this to closed session for a decision on the request for extension?
Mr. Chairman, I move that this be moved to the closed session for a decision on this matter.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. All right. So any opposed? Not hearing any, carried unanimously. Sir, you will be notified within 15 days in writing as to whether your request for an extension has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming
Thank you.
today.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Right. All right, Madam Coordinator, now you wish to get the letter of the ombudsman into the record. Thank you. All right, there's a letter from the Ombudsman of Ontario. I can find it. I have it in front of me. Thank you. Dated November 22, 2024 to the council for the Township of Ramara regarding best practices related to the Township's Appeal Tribunal. Could I have a motion to enter this into the record?
Mr. Chairman, I move that communication from the Ombudsman of Ontario be entered into the record for future reference or resolutions.
Second, thank you. Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Does that satisfy the technicality, Madam Coordinator?
I think I can answer just while she's typing. The easier method is your motions are already written on the agenda. So if you just simply read those motions as written
Okay.
and
thank you.
then approve them. Oh,
In this,
my apologies.
and in this instance, it wasn't, but I did have something prepared.
I don't see a problem with the motion as framed. I'm just gonna go with it. That it be placed into the record of the minutes and filed. Okay, so we've approved that unanimously. We'll just deal with it.
Right. And sorry, just to clarify, so that letter is just being received for information today, correct?
As far as I know, it's going on the record. It's received for information. But it's going to be carefully considered by the appeals tribunal. The content will be considered
Thank you.
going forward. Are there any other matters to deal with today?
No, Mr. Chair, and I would respectfully ask if I could be excused, please.
All right, is there any unfinished or new business at this time? So Madam Coordinator?
Nothing further.
Okay, so could I have a motion to move into closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the appeal tribunal move into closed session. Time now is 11:06.
Second, thank you. Any opposed? All right, carried unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Popple. All right,
We can just wait a minute until Ashley makes sure that we're set up.
thank you. Yes, thank you.
Back to the live session.
Okay,
So you'll do this for each of the three. Okay.
so if you want to read the adopted motions.
Okay. That the Ramara Appeal Tribunal discuss a personal matter regarding hearing file number 2024.11 to
Just do the first one.
in accordance with section 239 2B of the Municipal Act, and that staff proceed as directed.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
Any opposed? Carried unanimously.
That the Ramara Appeal Tribunal discuss a personal matter regarding hearing file number 2024.13 in accordance with section 239 2B of the Municipal Act, and that staff proceed as directed.
Mr. Chairman, I move that that is the case.
Okay, Randy, thank you. Second, and opposed of any? Carried unanimously.
That the Ramara Appeal Tribunal discuss a personal matter regarding hearing file number 2024.15 in accordance with section 239 2B of the Municipal Act, and that staff proceed as directed.
All right, motion,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we proceed as directed.
thank you. Randy, second, opposed of any? Not hearing any, unanimous approval. Of the motion. Do we need motions for 5.2 and 5.3?
They've been withdrawn.
They were
Mr. Chairman.
withdrawn.
Yes.
Okay, Randy, do you want to just withdraw? Motion to withdraw at the request of the township.
We just say that. Sorry,
Your
through you,
fire
Chair,
motion.
these motions have already been passed earlier in the meeting.
Fine,
Yeah.
we did it at the time.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. All right, anything else outstanding?
well, we have the last one.
The last one, which was, we just did
Was-
1.5.
Yes, we did. Okay, the one that was in closed session. The very last one.
That was 1.5.
We denied the.
Yeah.
The appeal period.
Yeah, the extension.
Yeah.
And there any new or unfinished business?
No, I brought it up about the.
Okay,
the,
I'll entertain a motion to terminate the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Ramara Appeal Tribunal adjourn at 11:46.
I prefer to use the word terminate if that's okay with you.
Terminate works for me too, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Randy,
So moved.
and any objection? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you all and wish you a very Merry Christmas and a healthy, happy New Year. And thank you, ladies. I know you carry the weight of this, you and Mr. Popple. So please extend our best to Mr. Popple.